Hey everyone, this is Breaker1 from the Break Room on Twitch, and I'm here to teach you how to win at Fall Ball and Fall Guys. Let's start off with just a few basic tips and tricks that I'm going to be using throughout this video. I made a separate video for this a couple years ago, but one of the first tricks you should know about is called a power hit. Essentially, you get the hardest possible hit on a ball if you dive directly into the center of it when the ball is rolling straight at you. It's something you'll use a lot, either to clear the ball away from your goal or to try and score on the other team from your side of the field. Remember though, the same thing applies to players on the other team. So if you can help it, try to avoid hitting the ball directly towards players that are on the opposite side. Otherwise, they're just going to power hit the ball themselves straight past your bean. Throughout the video, you're going to see me turning names on and off a lot. Turning names on allows you to see where players are when they're behind the ball, because you don't want to get caught off guard by a player that you didn't know was there. You're going to want to learn the timing of when new balls spawn. Whenever a goal is scored, it takes around 2 seconds for the new ball shadow to appear and another 2 seconds before it falls from the sky, which can help you score the new ball the moment it falls down. Whenever you score, if you're even slightly close to the goal, dive into it instead of running towards the center of the field. First off, you'll respawn quicker than it takes for the new ball to spawn in, and you're much more likely to end up on the correct side of the new ball when it falls down, making it easy for you to score the next goal. Alright, so now that we got the basics out of the way, let's get to movement. We'll start with the beginning of any fall ball game, the kickoff. If you're the player closest to the ball, find an opening in the opponent's defense and hit the ball in that direction. You're not necessarily looking to score, you just want to make sure the other team doesn't get any early game momentum. It also doesn't matter if you normally play a position like goalie, make sure to hit the ball first, because if the opponent scores right away, it could affect the entire match. If you start kickoff away from your ball, then your objective is to defend against the opponent's ball. Find a position that'll prevent their ball from going in your goal. For example, if you move backwards, it gives you the best opportunity to make a power hit on their ball and towards their goal. That's especially true in later rounds with lower player counts. You might be the only player who has a chance to defend against the opponent's ball, and a good power hit on the ball straight into their goal might just set the momentum for the rest of the game. If there's a spinner in the center of the field, look at the direction that the arrows are facing. Whoever's behind the arrow is the one that's in charge of hitting the ball. They're the bean hoot that can get the most powerful hit, and they also have the best chance of getting the ball moving in the right direction, so that way your team can score an early goal. And just like before, without the spinner, if you're not the one in charge of hitting the ball, then your only task is to defend against the opponent's ball. Immediately get in front of the opponent's arrows so that you can get to their ball quickly and prevent them from scoring on you. If the person in front of the arrows gets the first hit, the balls will usually collide with one another, and the ball on your side will get launched by the spinner directly towards your goal. That's why it's important to always pay attention to the direction of the arrows. Next up on movement is positioning, or the place on the field you should move your bean to in different situations. Before we get started, I want to talk about this cluster of beans in the back left, right over here. You usually see this group in round 1 of Fall Ball. I like to call them the Horde, or the Hive Mind. All of them play the same way. They cluster together, they swarm around the field, they constantly chase the ball, they have no sense of what's going on around them, they have no idea when they're in another player's way, and they feel the only way they can contribute to the game is if they try to touch the ball at least once, even if it's in the wrong direction. The only way to deal with the Horde is just avoid them. Don't get suckered into joining their pack. There's other ways to hit the ball without leaving it up to random chance. The main thing about the Horde is they'll almost always lose control of the ball, and beans don't run fast enough to catch up to it. So when the Horde's forming, watch the general direction of the balls and position yourself on the field where the ball looks like it'll be about a second or two later. That's how you gain control of the ball, and you prevent the Horde from keeping it for themselves. Even without the Horde, staying a bit far away from the ball is often a good strategy. As said, you can't run faster than the ball moves, so sometimes it's better to play in a spot on the field that's empty and wait for the ball to come to you instead. Also, don't be afraid to reposition yourself by running back a bit in the direction of your own goal. That can give you the extra space that you need to get a really good hit on the ball and launch it directly into the other team's net. Even if the timer's close to running out and you're down 1-2, don't panic and start chasing after the ball. Good positioning can be exactly what's needed in order to score a last-minute goal for your team and tie things up or even win the game. So I mentioned a few times now that you can't run faster than the ball, but there's still other ways to catch up to it. If there's a spinner in the middle, you can use that to quickly move from one side of the field to the other. It'll help you get into a better position to prevent the other team from hitting the ball, and it's significantly quicker than trying to run to the ball to catch up to it. Also, if you're quick enough, you can position yourself to get the first hit of the ball coming off of the spinner and score on the other team. Even if you have to go around the entire length of the spinner, it's usually quicker than running towards the ball directly. Plus, it can give you the boost you need to get to the ball before your opponent can get to it. On to the next section, controlling the ball, starting with one of the basic moves, bank shots. Just like in pool or billiards, a bank shot is just an angled shot where you bounce the ball against one of the sidewalls. You're going to find there's a few times you won't quite be able to fully reach the ball and get a good hit on it before the other team does. So instead, using a bank shot, you can hit the ball against the wall around the other team, preventing them from taking control of it. If someone on the other team is running along the edge with the ball, you can run up and bank it against the wall to take possession from them. With enough practice, you'll start to find all kinds of bank shots you can make to get the ball around other players, especially ones where a regular shot would just bounce the ball into them and straight back into your face. Speaking of walls, let's talk about one of the most powerful walls in fall ball, the corners. This diagram here shows the basic idea of how to score by hitting the ball into the corner. The idea is you hit the ball along the side of the field directly into the corner, and because of the shape of the area around the goal, the ball will naturally want to roll straight in. Here's an example. Line yourself up with the ball, hit a straight shot in the corner, and the ball will bounce towards the center and towards the goal. You don't even need to hit the ball with much power when you aim for the corner. As long as there's no defenders in the way, it's the shape of the corner and the shape of the area that's in front of the goal that's far more important. You can also use the corner to defend the ball. If you're near the corner with the ball, but the other team is running up to you quickly, you can hit the ball into the corner to slip it past them. For example here, if I were to hit the ball straight, the other team would get a chance to hit it back. So instead, I hit it in the corner so they don't get a chance to get a good hit on the ball, and my team is able to get it over them and rolling towards the other side. Another situation is where you're close to the corner, but you're a bit too far forwards and slightly away from your own goal. What you can do instead is hit the ball diagonally into the corner to get it moving in the right direction. Here's an example. I didn't expect another ball to come flying in, but with my position, I was able to hit the ball diagonally into the corner to send it back towards the other side of the field. Sometimes you'll find yourself a bit too close to the action. When that happens, you can control the ball by dribbling it. Dribbling's particularly good if you're playing off server and can't get good hits, and the idea is pretty simple. You move the ball to the edge of the field, push against it until it's just over your head, and with a few well-timed jumps, you can move the ball forwards and over the other team. Even if you're not off server, dribbling's still one of the best ways to work with the ball when you're in close quarters with other players, especially in situations where they start getting antsy and try to form a horde around you. Once you get a feel for controlling the ball, it'll be easy to score goal after goal by dribbling it across the field. Ironically, one of the concepts we haven't touched on yet in this video is a concept called the last touch. The idea of the last touch is pretty simple. Whenever two beans try to hit a ball at the same time, the last bean who touches the ball is the one who wins the fight. Here's the easiest way to use the last touch. If you see an opposing player trying to hit the ball, just jump straight up in front of it, and because the ball hits you last, you'll end up winning the matchup between the two of you. When you have two players on opposite teams who understand how the last touch of the ball works, and neither of them wants to make the first move, it can make for some pretty intense matchups. In those cases, you may just have to do a little improvisation to get around the problem. So just remember, don't hit the ball unless you're absolutely positive you'll be the last one to touch it. Otherwise things can go very badly for you and your team very quickly. From here, let's discuss any other tips that I haven't already gone over in the rest of the video. If you're on a team and your teammate has a better angle to get a hit on the ball, let them hit it. Always be aware of what's going on in other parts of the field. You shouldn't always hit the ball just because it's near you, especially if you trust the other members of your team. We never really got a chance to discuss other objects that can be scored, such as bananas and American footballs, but I wanted to discuss eggs really quick. Think of eggs as a regular ball, but they're just a bit heavier. Pretty much all the tips and tricks discussed in this video still apply to them. When you're working on a team, always make sure you have someone dedicated to handling tip-offs when new balls are dropped on the field. To position yourself, as long as there's no spinner in the middle, look at the white square dots around the field. Just stand between the two square dots on your side that's behind the line, and you'll be able to reach any ball, no matter where it drops in. First off, you can fully determine the momentum of the entire game by constantly sending balls onto your opponent's side. Plus, it's a place you can easily score goals. Throughout this video, I discussed dealing with one ball at a time, but that only works in a perfect world, and unfortunately, Fall Guys isn't perfect. A lot of the time, you'll see balls clustered together in one area, which can cause a lot of bounces and strange physics interactions, both with each other and with other players. Ideally, what you want to do is keep all of the balls separated from one another. Your best opportunity to do it is during tip-off, when you can send each of the balls in opposite directions on the field. This may seem like obvious advice, but make sure to use strategies like bank shots, remembering the last touch of the ball, and not passing the ball directly to players on the other team. That way you keep possession of the ball, or you prevent your opponent from gaining possession. If you're constantly losing the ball to the other team, eventually you're going to overwhelm your goalie and force them into difficult positions where they have to choose which ball they're going to defend against and hope that the other one doesn't go in. Sometimes the other team will have possession of a ball and there's no good opportunity to bank it or juggle it away. What you could do instead is move to the side wall and dive towards the other wall, hitting the ball past your goal and clearing it away. Now let's take all the strategies we learned in this video and watch a full game together to see them being used in action. It looks like there's a spinner in this game with the arrows going counterclockwise, and I'm behind the arrow, so it's up to me to hit the ball first. I jump behind the ball and do a dive. Unfortunately I ragdoll, but with a quick jump I'm able to touch the ball just before the other team can and we score the first goal. Once I'm on the spinner, I can see the other balls close by, so I go and assist my teammate. With some quick juggling, I'm able to get the ball over the blue team's head and it's moving towards the goal. Unfortunately, the blue team's able to gather really quickly and block the ball, so I pull back a bit and wait on the spinner so I can make my next move. I see that there's a blue bean that's about to dive into the closest ball, so I jump straight up in front of it so I get the last touch on the ball and we end up scoring a second time. Back on the spinner again, I try to time a jump for the next tip-off, but I hit the ball in the wrong direction, so I try to bank the closest ball since I see the other team has possession of it. After a cheeky little tap grab, I watch my teammates clear the ball away from our goal. Once it's cleared, it's back to the spinner yet again, but I don't have a good angle on the front ball, so I go for yet another bank shot and ragdoll again. I watch my teammate move the ball forward, so I pull back and just wait around on the spinner, trying to find a better place to position myself away from the blue team, in case one of them hits the ball and goes for a power shot across the field. Instead, we end up scoring a third time, so I wait on the spinner and try to time another tip-off. This time it's an American football, which gets sent off to the left. I try to reposition myself in front of the ball, but the other team has a better line, so they shoot it past me. I see the other ball though and run to it. With a quick bang to the left, I get the ball past the other team and into the net for our fourth goal. Back to the spinner one more time, and I wait around for the next tip-off. Yet again, my timing isn't the best, and the ball starts rolling towards the blue team. So I get off the spinner and I move myself backwards into a better position, getting ready for them to hit the ball into me. Once I see the balls rolling towards me and away from the other team, I dive into it so that it hits the back corner. With no one defending it, the ball rolls towards the center, into the groove in front of the net, and we score our fifth goal. At this point, I can see that there's less than 30 seconds left in the game, and the score is currently 5-0, so I run over to my teammates so we can share a hug. Because at the end of the day, this game is all about goofing off and having fun with others. With that said, I hope all these tips, tricks, and strategies helped you out. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.